All right, this is the Zoom H5 handy recorder. Let's take a look at this side first. We have our line out, we have our headphone jack. It's important to always monitor your audio using headphones, preferably good headphones and not your iPod, iPhone headphones. You got your volume. This volume controls the volume exclusively for the headphone jack. So if you make this louder or softer, you're not controlling or changing the audio levels being recorded. You're just changing how loud or quiet your headphones are. That's important to remember. Here's your USB port. We're going to use that to connect our recorder to the computer. There's our power button. On the back here, we have our batteries. We have two AA batteries. These are rechargeable. Don't throw away any of my batteries in the lab, because if you do, you're throwing away rechargeable batteries. Over here is our SD card slot. We are not going to ever take the SD card out. We don't want to put the stress on the SD card slot. We'd prefer to put the stress on the USB port. Here's a menu button. This is our scroll wheel, which is also a button. All right, so let's take a look at how this works. Here's the front. We have two microphones up front. These are my L and R, my left and right microphones. This is the dial that controls the microphones, the gain, the levels, how sensitive they are to sound. Okay. On the bottom, we can plug in other microphones using an XLR cable. So let's go ahead and turn this on. I'm going to get the power button, hold it down. This is going to start up. It has to read through the SD card a little bit. The very first thing I ever do when I'm using our lab recorders is I come into push the menu button, I scroll down to SD card, I push in on the scroll wheel, scroll down to format, and are you sure you want to format the card? Yes. Listen, I have 180 students all recording recordings. It's a disaster trying to find everything. So I just clear the card out, the very first thing I do. If somebody just had their audio erased, I feel one smidge of remorse, but not anymore. All right, the next thing I do when I come in here, so I push the menu button to go back, and I'm going to scroll up to where it says folder. And I'm going to push in, and I'm going to choose the folder I want to record into. And let's say I want to record into folder 10. This way, I know exactly where I'm recording to, and I'll be able to find my audio. All right, so I should be good to record. If you notice right now, these levels are going up and down, and that sound is coming through these microphones because I pushed the LR button. Now, notice when I push it again, it turns them off. Well, I want to record here, and I can control my audio levels using this dial. And this is so much handier. Oh, get it? Handy. This is so much handier than on the previous Zoom H4n. And I love this, having the dial there. All right, we want our audio to really peak. If you noticed, when I got really loud, this L and this R started to flicker. That means my audio is clipping, that's going off the end. And so I want to adjust this dial down so I peak somewhere in between at my loudest. I want to peak between -12 and -6. I want to give myself a little space on the top end. All right, and so here I am, and when I'm ready to record, I push the record button. And it's recording. I know that it's recording because that number is moving, and the name of the file that is currently being recorded is Zoom 0001. And when I push stop, I might write down on a piece of paper Zoom 0001 and make some notes about the sound. So if it was a good recording, if it was there was a particular noise, maybe somebody yelled, something in the background. So it's good to take notes as you're recording. All right, so that's how you record using the microphones here. Next one thing I want to show you is I have this Rode NTG1 microphone. And this has an XLR port or cable attached to it. And what you do is you just take this XLR cable and plug it into the bottom. All right, and so now I have my microphone plugged in, but I'm not recording yet. What I have to do is I'm going to turn off the LR by pushing the button. So I've disabled those, and I need to push 1 because this is plugged into port 1, so I want to enable port 1 here. Now, one thing about the Rode NTG1 is this microphone, it doesn't take a battery. It actually will draw its electricity from the Zoom recorder itself. And we have to turn on what's called phantom power. We need to tell the Zoom recorder to give phantom power to the microphone. And so to do that, we're going to go into the menus. I'm going to go and scroll down to in/out, and it's got a picture of a microphone. And I'm going to select in/out, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says phantom. And I'm going to select that, and I want to make sure it's turned on. All right, it is. It's turned on. And then I want to push menu, and I want to control the voltage. And right now it says it's at 48 volts, and that's what we want, plus 48, because that's what I know that these Rode microphones take. All right, so now I have that turned on, and now I can record through the Rode NTG1. And just like before, I'm going to push record, and now my sound is coming exclusively through the Rode NTG1. Now what we need to do is we need to get the audio off of the Zoom. And for right now, I'm just going to unplug the microphone. I'm going to turn that off. All right, so to get the audio off, I'm going to turn off the recorder. And once again, it's important that you don't use the SD card slot here because we don't want to break it. I'm going to come into the USB side. I have a USB mini. This is not a micro. And I'm going to just plug it right in there. I'm going to plug the other end into the computer. And so it's important to turn it off. And when it's plugged into the computer, I'm going to turn it on. And it says, hey, do you want to use this as an SD card reader, or do you want to use this as an audio interface? And I want to use it as an SD card reader. So I'm going to push the in button, and you can hear right there that my computer pops up, and it says my device is ready to use, and I can, on my computer, it's mounted it just like an SD card. And I can go in and find my audio clip right in the folder 10 where I recorded it to. And that's how you get your audio off of the Zoom H5 handy recorder. Right on.